I think moms come up with the best ideas for inventions because good inventions come from solving a problem, and moms are super resourceful and good at that.
Welcome to the Good Enough Mompreneur Podcast, where we celebrate the journey of resilient and inspiring women balancing the roles of motherhood and entrepreneurship. I'm thrilled to bring you today's episode. I'm your host, Angela Mishuli, and we're going to dive deep into the entrepreneurial journey of a remarkable woman who's redefining success on her own terms. Our guest today is Leeanna Gantt, the brilliant mind behind Tooktake, a groundbreaking solution revolutionizing how we manage daily medications and supplements. Featured on CBS New York, Brit Co, and NBC Miami, Leeanna's story is nothing short of inspiring. In this candid conversation, Leeanna shares her personal journey from idea to innovation, revealing the challenges and triumphs and invaluable lessons learned along the way. We'll uncover her secrets to navigating the startup landscape, balancing business and family life, and prioritizing self-care amidst the hustle. Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur or just starting out, Leeanna's insight and wisdom will leave you feeling empowered and motivated to pursue your own entrepreneurial dreams one imperfect step at a time. So grab your favorite beverage, cozy up, and join us as we embark on this enriching journey with Leeanna Gantt right here on the Good Enough Mompreneur Podcast, and help me welcome Leeanna to the show. I am super excited to have Leeanna Gantt on the podcast today. Welcome, Leeanna.
Hi, thank you for having me.
I'm going to give you a quick intro because I think you have such a cool business and a great story. You're the founder of Tooktake, and it's a no-tech reminder to take your daily medication and supplements that keeps the original packaging and instructions and information. You've been featured on CBS New York, Brit Co, and NBC Miami. It's just really awesome, the potential for your business to honestly save lives. So welcome, and set the stage for us on your company and how it started and all those good things.
Well, I started Tooktake during my own treatment for breast cancer because during the chemotherapy part, I had a zillion things to keep track of.
Right.
Like really at least a dozen medications and supplements and things to manage the side effects. And they were all in different forms and all on different schedules, and it was super stressful. So I started to make this little hack out of sticky notes to help me and my family keep track of things and know if I'd had something or not. And then over the year I was in treatment, it evolved into these little labels that later became Tooktake. And I realized they're great in that situation where I was really ill and couldn't pay attention.
Right.
But they're even more helpful to me now where I'm back to my busy life, family and friends and work. And I have one thing I have to take. And it was heck, if I can remember if I took it, I would take it and then be staring at the bottle and being like, did I just choose that?
I do the same thing.
I was just like, oh, okay, I need my little labels again because I apparently don't have it as together as I thought. And I still use them because I'm takes all the guesswork and stress out of, did I take it? I just can look and be like, yeah, I did, or no, I didn't.
Yeah. No, I love that. And before recording, we had talked, and you even had a story of somebody who, and I know family members who've been on medications that if you don't remember or you're not sure if you took one and you take another medication, it can have really serious side effects from either being ill or overdosing or something.
Yeah, I have a really good friend, and her medication she has to take it every day or she'll feel really sick. But also if she takes it twice, she'll end up in the emergency room. So like, it's really important for her to know if she took it or not. And she says this is the only thing that works for her, because even with like other pill organizers and pill, something would go wrong and she wouldn't know if she did it. And this is helping her. So I'm really glad, because it's a friend. So of course I want her to always be healthy. But
yeah, it's just, it seems like it's something that's simple. It's no tech, which is amazing. We have too much tech. And just something that enables us. I can't remember whether I took something or not. So we're all busy. But yeah, so tell us how you took this from an idea that helped you during your breast cancer treatment to really like manufacturing it and all that stuff.
well, and just so people know, it's basically a sticker with little perforated tabs.
Yeah.
With the daily, we have 4 different ones, but the daily one has the days of the week on the tab. So you just pull them off when you take your dose, so you know you did it. But yeah, so the year I was in treatment, my husband and I both have a design background. We're both creative directors. So making the little stickers became something we could do while I was stuck in bed, and just something we could work on to distract me from what was going on. So we had made them so I could print them out and just stick them on things. And then when I decided to get them made, I thought they would be super easy. I'm like, oh, it's a sticker. I'll go to a sticker maker. I don't know, like online sticker companies. Yeah.
Right.
Turns out they're really hard to make. Perforated tabs and all these things were really challenging. So it took a really long time actually for me to find someone who could print them. But once we did, we got who prints them. And then we designed a little package for them and printing packages. And then we assembled them at home and mail them out to people when they ordered them from our website.
That's so cool. So you just kept looking for the right one. And
Yeah, we got a lot of no's, but I think the one thing is, like, when someone usually they just say no or email. We do a lot by email. They just be like, oh, we can't make this. And I just kept saying, can you tell me why? Like, what part? Is
I
it
like
something I can fix?
I like
Um,
that.
But yeah, I tried to always ask them, is it something about the way it's designed? Is it the quantity I'm asking? Like, can you tell me why you can't give me an estimate on this? And slowly over time, we were able to identify the problems. And then I knew the questions to ask when I'd call a printer or write to a printer and say, okay, I'm wondering if you have the capability to do this kind of die cut with this. And like, then I knew what I was asking for and what could look for on people's website to even see if they had the capability to do what we needed.
That's a really smart idea because I know I've talked to a few people who've come up with a product to manufacture and market, and you have a lot of hurdles in that development phase. It can be overwhelming, I'm sure, to just think about it. So I just love that you took this difficult time and you found a way to manage that difficult situation for yourself. And now you're helping other people do that. I think it's amazing. And honestly, I know family members that had they had this product, they might still be with us. To just think about that, I think that it's a really important product, and I love, like, your personality behind it. You do some really sweet things, like send cards to people who order from you. I love that. It's so sweet. But you went from a design background to being an entrepreneur, and so that was a big change for you, right?
Definitely. Yeah. It was completely different because I didn't really have any business background. When I worked in advertising, there were other people for that part of the business. So
Right.
I just did my creative part. So yeah, it's been a steep learning curve.
Mhm.
But one thing that's helped is, again, I'm big on asking questions and I'm not shy about asking for help. So if I saw someone on LinkedIn that was like, wow, they're doing what I want to be able to do, I would just write and say, hey, can I ask you some questions? Do you have a minute? And some people never wrote back, but like one of my super amazing entrepreneur friends, I've known her for 4 years now. We met on LinkedIn because I was like, hey, will you talk to me?
I love that. That's great because I think you're right. So many people are really shy and they don't want to bug people, but I think you'd be surprised at how much people would be happy to help you, especially if you have specific questions.
Definitely. I think it's not just saying, "Hey, will you talk to me and give me good tips?" Like
Right.
that takes a lot of time. Like when people do that to me, I'll say, "I am happy to talk to you. It
Mhm.
will help me if you can narrow down some specific questions that you think I might be able to help you with. Is it getting started or packaging or
Mhm.
like what is your question? Getting into retail?" Because otherwise it becomes like a really long conversation.
Yes.
And as much as I want to help people, I can't do that for everyone. Usually I'll write and say, "I have a question about this." I'm totally happy to talk to them.
Yeah, and when did you finally take it to market? When did you finally have something that you could send people?
It was in middle of 2019. We
Uh-huh.
had our first products on the website. We had designed some packaging that I thought was so cool and amazing. And we found out later, was really awful. Yeah, it was really bad. And somebody finally told me though, because like I was talking to a big retailer and she was like, "I love your product, but I can't carry it." I was like, my usual, "Can you tell me why?"
Yeah.
And she's, "Because your packaging is horrible." I mean, at first I was really sad about that because I thought it was so nifty, especially because we were making it ourselves. So I thought this is really clever. Um,
Uh-huh.
Big retailers don't want your
Your
do-it-yourself
clever
package.
packaging.
No, they didn't think it was at all clever. So, but she was nice enough to tell me what they do need. So I was like, I have no idea how to fix it or what I need. And so I did get a very nice person who took some time to share what needed to change, which was everything, but it was good because now that's our current packaging, which is great.
Yeah.
And we haven't had a problem since then.
Yeah.
So yeah, we took it to market in 2019 in a
Uh-huh.
slightly different form, but
Yeah.
essentially same product, different package.
So you've had 3, 4 years of entrepreneurship to really learn some things. One of which I really loved, that you talked about finding a community that resonates with you. So, can you talk about that in that process that you went through? And I love your spirit. You're just like, "Oh, I'm just going to try this."
Like when I first started, I found one group online that it was like all these female entrepreneurs and talking about female empowerment. I was like, I want to be part of this group. And then I joined their Facebook group to see what it was like. And then I started getting targeted for all these other groups for women entrepreneurs. And it turned out the first one wasn't really for me. It was an awesome group, but it turned out to be a lot of people who were they had different kinds of coaching businesses, whether it
Hmm.
was business coaching or fitness, but they were all had a coaching model and I had a physical product. So
Hmm.
that group didn't really resonate with me. But just the energy, it wasn't really my energy. But I learned a lot from that in that just because it checked off a couple boxes, like it's female founders, that's not all female founders. There's a million different groups, age ranges, types of businesses. So I just started joining a lot of them because Facebook's super easy or LinkedIn to just check out different groups. And then
Hmm.
you find the ones that you feel like you can contribute to the conversation.
Hmm.
And more importantly, for me at the beginning, I felt like I could learn a lot because
Hmm.
people would throw out questions and other people would answer them. I'd be like, oh, I didn't even know that was a thing. So then
Yeah.
I narrowed it back down to I think I'm in 3 now. Then I'm more active in,
Hmm.
and I'm part of those communities because I found my people. It just took a while.
Yeah. No, I love that. And I think it's so important. So, are your people mainly on Facebook or LinkedIn or both? Or,
I think the groups are mostly on Facebook, or that's
uh-huh.
sort of where they put the community. A few of them have tried going off of Facebook. They're private groups, but they tried hosting them other places, but everyone just found it easier to be
Yeah.
on Facebook. I'm not super active on the platform in general, but that's where these couple of groups are. There's one for female inventors that I'm in, one for female entrepreneurs who are breast cancer survivors, which is super niche. And then another one that's just entrepreneurs in general, that's more kind of a general group.
Mhm.
And then on LinkedIn, it's more where I connected with specific founders that I'm like, really like their business, or really want to get to know them and connect with them. And over the years, we've managed to build a friendship that way.
That's awesome. And so I think that's encouraging for anybody to just keep looking for your group of people, and you can find them, because wouldn't you say that really enriches you and helps, especially as an online entrepreneur? It can feel really lonely. You're doing all the things,
Definitely.
you're doing it all yourself and not having as much interaction with people.
Definitely. And I think especially, I still feel like I'm in the early days of my company and there's so much to learn because every new opportunity brings a new set of questions.
Oh, yeah.
So I think it it is lonely. So being able to have some people to say, "Hey, does anyone know anything about this?" Or do you know anybody who knows anybody? And it just takes a little of the fear out of it for me because at least I know
Mhm.
I have somewhere to ask a question. I don't have to just figure it out all by myself. And
Yeah.
even if they don't have the answer, knowing that I at least have somewhere to ask is very comforting.
Yeah. And I think that we tend to try to do it all on our own and not realize the importance of that support. So I love that message to keep looking for your group of people, because they are out there, and you might even need a few groups that have different
Mhm.
specialties, because you've launched on Amazon now, you're with some big retailers, and I'm sure that comes with a lot of questions and a lot of like, how do I do this kind of thing.
Definitely. Like when we first got a call from Walmart, they're like, we need to know that you can do, and they had this laundry list of capabilities. And somebody had told me, just say yes and you'll figure it out. And
Hmm.
I'm like, oh my God, no problem. I can do that. And I got off the call with this list of stuff. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know what any of this is. But I was able to find somebody who could be like,
Yeah.
okay, here's what it is. And here's how you do it. And I did it. And it was scary, but it did get done. And I got people to help me. And yeah, there's always something to learn.
Yeah.
And I think also for me, hearing other people say that something is scary or something is hard is comforting because I feel like being a solo entrepreneur, sometimes you feel like I'm just messing this up or it shouldn't, they don't seem scared or they don't seem nervous or they don't
Hmm.
seem to be having trouble. But
Hmm.
then when you find people who go, it's, oh yeah, that isn't that terrifying. You felt that too? And you say, "Cool, I'm so happy you were
Yes.
terrified too."
I know. That whole nobody is terrified but me kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's so not true. Our brains lie to us.
Yes,
So
definitely.
I love too that in this process you've learned some great tips that I saw in your article with Brit Co. Because you'd won a scholarship to be part of this group that kind of helped you with entrepreneurship, which I think is amazing. So, yeah, share some of the productivity tips and tips that kind of help you run your business while you're trying to do all that.
I have some new ones lately. I'm always trying something different.
Yeah, I love that.
I mean, lately I've gotten really into using like a organizing platform called Asana. And because I was like queen of Post-its all over my
Yeah.
desk and the wall and whiteboards, and it was getting chaotic. And
Mhm.
then it was really hard to delegate because there was no system or to my Post-it system there.
Mhm.
So I started using that and that has changed everything. It's made it so much easier to keep track of and little stuff isn't falling through the cracks.
Mhm.
And then I think also just for me, it's been really hard to do because it is just me at home, but trying to set and reinforce boundaries. Like you probably have that too. Like when my work day is and when it is not.
Yeah.
And trying really hard to stick to that makes a lot of difference. Cause when I don't and I let every hour become work time,
Yeah.
I just start to feel really burnt out and overwhelmed really fast.
Mhm.
So I think that's really important.
Yeah. No, that absolutely it is. So, what are some of the things that you do to recharge after working a lot? Because I think that's so important.
I usually, like, my husband and I try to spend time together at the end of the day. And lately it's cooled down here. We've been like going for a walk. We'll stop because he works at home too. We're both in the house a lot.
My
So
husband
we're
works at home with me too. I know what
it's
that's
like
like.
a lot of together time, but we're together, but we're not because we're
Yeah.
both doing our own thing. We've been trying to say it's okay. We're gonna stop and we're gonna go for a walk before dinner. It's just how like we used to have that time in the car because we're in LA. We used to spend a lot of time in the car.
Oh, yeah.
Like when I'd come home from work and I'd have that sort of transitional time from work to home and to get the office stuff out of my brain and start to transition. And now we don't have that. It's like we're just here. So we've created that where we'll go for a walk and talk about our day a little. So then when we get back home before dinner, okay, now it's home time.
That's a really great idea. I love that.
So, yeah, because I think we realized like that's what we were missing was to reinforce again that boundary of work time. It's like we have an end, we're going to do something, we need to stop, and we're changing activities now.
Yeah, I like that. I like that transition. That's a really cool idea. So, yeah, so I know you have some really good tips with email too. I am terrible with managing email. So, if you could share any wisdom.
Wow, I don't feel like you're so great with email, but I try to keep my email really organized and set. Again, I'm not super good at this lately, but usually I try to set a few times a day. Look at it in the morning and look at it in the evening. Because when I let it go all day long, I got to turn off the alerts. If I let it go all day long, I can't get anything done. Because then until I look at it, until you read it, you don't know if it's urgent or not. And I'm not a doctor. I don't really get urgent email. Like, nobody really needs to hear from me that quickly. So
One guest said once.
That.
Yeah, one guest said once, nobody's going to send you an email that they're going to die.
Yeah, that would just really be a bad way to communicate that. Yeah, like trying to set times to look at it. And then I also have created folders in my email where I can put categories, things that I like. I'll leave stuff that I really do need to address in the inbox. But then if it's from a group I'm in or something, I'll put them aside so that even like later in the week, I can catch up on what's been going on if it's a particularly busy time. And I'm like, I can't look at that right now. So I think just trying to, when I look at it those few times a day, is organize it a little so it doesn't become this overwhelming. Like you have 500 emails and
yeah. Oh, yeah. It is definitely a struggle, but yeah, just trying to stay on top of it and keep it organized some way is definitely an ongoing challenge.
and unsubscribing. Like I especially this time of year and the holidays, I find I get emails from things I didn't even know I was subscribed to.
Yeah.
So it's just instead of waiting or just deleting, it's like taking that second to just unsubscribe and try and keep them from filling up the inbox.
Yeah, no, that's a really great point that for some reason you don't take that time to do that. But yeah, that can really help your email inbox. Because I do have certain people, I love them, but they send me like 10 emails.
Yeah. And it's just, oh my goodness. It's like,
Yes. Oh gosh. So yeah, I love like your space. It's all colorful. I can definitely see like your creative influence there. So what are some tips for office space? Because I am just one of these people, if my office space is not a certain way and decluttered, I cannot function.
I wish I was more that way.
Because you're so creative.
But I mean, I do need things in a certain way. I try to keep things, the piles and post it. Now that I don't have to post it all over the walls, that's good. I did get like a new whiteboard. So I have a place to put notes that I feel are like more urgent than can be put into the tracking system. But yeah, I try to keep things pretty cleared up. And at the end of the day, I try to make sure I'm ready for the next day because that really helps starting the day, not sitting down, feeling overwhelmed with like clutter all over. And I like to try and also with the whiteboard, if I have something I definitely want to get done the next day, sometimes, even though it's on the other tracking system, I'll put that on my whiteboard. So when I come in the office, I'm like, that's what I'm starting with. And I've already decided. So I don't spend 20 minutes going through what should I do today? What's most important? I've already decided that at the end of the day before.
No, yeah, I do some of those same things. I'll just do a brain dump too before I finish. And then the next day I know where to start. And I have a whiteboard I
Exactly.
use in the same way. So I think that's super helpful. But yeah, I know you're a mom too, but your daughter's older. But still, I think you're forever a parent no matter
Definitely.
what. And yeah, talk to me about how entrepreneurship has impacted your family life and
Yeah, I think it's for the most part, I think it's all been a good experience. I think I like that she's seen me create something and bring it to market and seeing that it's hard and at times it's not going well, or see when it does do well, to just see that the reality of it. Cause I think you hear so many stories. This person made this thing on their kitchen table and then they sold it for $1 billion. And it
right,
makes you think that just happens all the time. And I don't think it
right.
does. But no, I think it's been good for our family. I think it's been good for her to see how things work. And it also has given me the flexibility to be there when she needs me, and for us as a family to do things that we wouldn't otherwise get to do if we had still been in our traditional jobs in an agency environment. It helps that my husband has a design business too. Like he has his business. So we're both pretty flexible.
Mhm.
So it's nice in that respect. But yeah, you're always a mom. My daughter had a sinus infection last week, and it's of course it's mom. What do I do? I'm like,
Right.
let's go to the doctor. Come on. Like it's like she
Yeah.
knows how to do this. They don't want to.
Yeah. Yeah. And you never know what might happen. And you want to be able to be there. And like you said, with a traditional job, you might not otherwise have been able to be there the way that you wanted to. Yeah, I think that's super important. And two, it's you don't really always realize the impact of what you're doing in that moment. But I think
Mhm.
it does have a pretty big impact on whether she becomes an entrepreneur or not. Just seeing that there's a dozen, I think we know subconsciously there's a million reasons why you may not have taken that as far as you have. And it would be very easy to go, oh, it's too hard to find a manufacturer. Forget it. I don't want to change the packaging. I don't want to whatever. But just seeing your tenacity and your persistence and staying in the game, I think it's very important. But yeah, I don't know. Is there anything else that you would like to share that you wish you would have known before you started?
Oh, there's so much I didn't know when I started out. I really thought that it's build it and they will come. I'm like, oh, I'll put this on a website and people will buy it. And
Right.
I learned there's so much more to it than that. But I'm in my case, I'm glad I didn't know, because I think, like you were saying, there's so many reasons not to do something.
Yeah.
And if you start looking around, you'll hear them and stuff, but they don't all apply to you. And
Mhm.
every person's different and they're going to do things a little different. And
Mhm.
they're different people with different personalities. So, like, I think I would tell people, like, don't get intimidated by people's war stories that they tell, because there are a lot of them in entrepreneur groups that, like,
Oh, yeah.
beware, don't do this. But like, I look at them more as, wow, that's something I learned that I didn't have to personally go through. I learned from their mistake. And that's great that they shared it, because it
Mhm.
wasn't to scare me, it was to teach me.
Mhm.
And I think that's the important thing. It's only you can know if your business seems solid and like a risk that you and your family can take, like
Mhm.
financially or time wise. Like, that's a really personal choice. And not everybody has the luxury of being able to do something full time and
Mhm.
all of that. But I think if you figured out that you really want to do it, there's no time limit. It's not a
Mhm.
race. So just do it your way.
Mhm.
And if people are saying that's not right, think about it. But everyone else isn't always right either. I've had people tell me I'm doing things completely backwards and I've made all these mistakes, even now. And maybe they're mistakes, maybe they're not. It's yet to be determined. But
Yeah.
it's the way I'm doing it. And it's the way that I'm comfortable growing the business slowly and
Mm-hmm.
doing it this way. I think just telling people, my advice to me, trust your gut and
Mm-hmm.
don't get overwhelmed by people's warnings. Just take them for what they're worth. They're just little lessons for you to keep in mind. But
Mm-hmm.
you're
Yeah.
different, and that plays a huge role in it. Just they're not you.
Yeah, no, you have to really have a strong sense of self and have a strong intuition when you're an entrepreneur. And it's very easy to look at shiny objects, the next course, the next thing that maybe will help you achieve the results. But I think ultimately you have to have a strong sense of self to be able to determine what's best for you. Because
Exactly.
there is no cookie cutter business plan that works for everybody. Ultimately, you have to do what works for you. And I think that's just your assignment. There's a reason for it.
Exactly. And you
Yeah.
said that so well. It's just, and also I think with courses specifically, like I did that at the beginning too. And I don't regret it, but I think I probably spent money I didn't need to after a certain point because I was looking for that magic answer or the roadmap. And I learned it's not that it's not good advice in a lot of the
Right.
courses, and I met great people and definitely learned things. But at a certain point, it's like things are different. What work, it's like everybody loves Sarah Blakely, but she started Spanx at a different time in a different environment and before all of social media. So it's an amazing story, but it doesn't work now. Just wearing around like a t-shirt with your brand and doing the things she did were really innovative at the time. And
Mhm.
it's an amazing story. And someone I admire, but you can't just copy those steps and think it's going to work for you now.
Mhm.
It's completely different now.
Mhm. Yeah, I know. And we're so full of, especially on social media, don't do this, don't do this. And it's just like,
Yeah. At a certain point, I'm just going to do what I want to do because I don't
right.
even know anymore.
Yes, it's just a little, okay, that might have worked for you, but who knows? But it's such a great journey. And I look forward to seeing how your product is going to grow and your business is going to grow. Are there any other takeaways that you want listeners to have from this conversation?
I think especially moms, I think moms come up with the best ideas for
Yeah.
inventions because good inventions come from solving a problem, and moms are super resourceful and good at
Yeah.
that. And
We
they
have
come
to
up
be.
with, well, you have to be, and then you come up with all these amazing things. So if there's that one idea you've had that's stuck in your head,
Yeah.
whether it's like an invention or even just a way to go about doing things, and you just really can't get that thought out of your head, give it a try. Don't keep
Mhm.
talking yourself out of it. Again, like I said, be responsible. No, don't make a product if there's no way to ever make money on it unless that's not a factor for you.
Right.
But I think if you cover the basics and you have the resources and the risk isn't too great, give it a try. You can try things even super, super small scale with
Mhm.
most things. If they're like my product's basically a sticker. But I know some people who've just done really small runs of something and just opened up an Etsy store and
Mhm.
just to see, do people like it? And also, I think the big question too is doing it small scale. Don't start huge
Mhm.
because doing it small scale, you'll also learn a lot about yourself. Do you like making the thing or do you like running a business? Because for a while I like wanted to do like a crafting business because I like am really crafty and I was like, I'm going to have an Etsy store. And it lasted for I don't know, a month maybe because I realized I liked making things. I didn't like trying to sell them. I didn't like there's so much of the process that made the making it part not fun anymore for
Mhm.
me. And had I tried to do that really large scale right out of the gate, I would have had a bigger problem when I was like, I don't want to do this. But I hadn't really invested much in it. So
Mhm.
it was easy to just be like, this isn't for me. So I think there's so many ways you can try things out. And if you have an idea, try it out if you can. Like if
Mhm.
it's not some big technology thing that requires a lot of money, see what you think, see what you like, see what you don't,
Yeah.
see if someone wants to do it with you, but
Right.
definitely try it. I think it's worth it. I think it's just such a great experience. And I think especially for moms, I know a lot of my friends who are moms and they have started their companies. It's given them a sense of self and also shown their kids that like mom's more than just a mom.
Yeah.
Their mom has superpowers, which I think all moms do.
Yeah.
To be able to do anything besides being a mom, I think is amazing.
Yeah.
It's like mom's more than a full-time job. So I think if you could do anything and keep track of your children and they come home in one piece most days, you're doing an awesome job.
No, I totally agree. And I love that you're just giving people permission to start small, because I know we have this cognitive bias to more complex is better and more complicated. And really, it doesn't have to be. And you don't have to quit your job. You don't have to be full time to be an inventor or an entrepreneur. It's something you can devote 1 hour a week to, or it's not something that has to totally take over your life. Or it's, if you're passionate enough about it, you'll find the time to dedicate to it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's amazing advice. And so, Leanna, where can people connect with you and learn more about Tooktake and all that great stuff?
You can learn about Tooktake at tooktake.com, or we have a pet version at tooktakepets.com.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to reach out to me, LinkedIn's a super easy way to reach me. You can write to me through the Tooktake website. I respond to all those emails as well. So whichever's easiest. Social media, we're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I'm not really good at TikToks, but I'm there. And you can find Tooktake also at CBS and Walmart if you just want to pick some up. So
Thanks.
we'd appreciate that.
Yeah, stocking stuffers. That would be
Yeah.
awesome.
And I think like people, one thing I forgot to say, like people always think that Tooktake's for the elderly, and it's really loved by younger people, by busy moms, for their kids, for their husbands. Stop your husband asking you every day, did I do this?
I
But it
love the
makes an
whole pet.
awesome little gift. Yeah.
I never thought.
Yeah. We just launched the pet line because people were using it for their pets, but they're like, can you make it for pets? So we did. And it's
Awesome.
doing really well because, yeah, pets, they can't even answer you if you ask them if you
Right.
did something. And with multiple people in the house, you get it.
Yeah.
It stops all that back and forth. Yeah, you can find us at tooktake.com, Tooktake Pets, and all social media.
Awesome. I'll leave all of those links in the show notes so you can connect with Leanna and find more out about Tooktake, which I think is just amazing. We think everything's been done. It's not. And even the simplest idea can really help people and how they live in their lives. So I think that's amazing. So thank you, Leanna. It's been wonderful connecting with you and learning more about your journey and Tooktake. It's been awesome.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun.
Thank you so much, Leanna. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of the Good Enough Mompreneur Podcast. And a special thank you to Leeanna Gantt for being on the show and sharing all of her wisdom and insight. We hope you found today's episode full of inspiration and valuable insights from Leanna's entrepreneurial journey. Remember, success doesn't have to be perfect. It's about embracing the messy, imperfect moments and taking bold steps forward. As you navigate your own path as a mompreneur, keep Leanna's words of wisdom close to heart. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe to our podcast and our channel for more empowering conversations with resilient mompreneurs like Leanna. And don't forget to leave us a review. Your feedback means the world to us. Stay connected with us on social at mombusinesscoach.com. You'll find all of our links there. And thank you again for joining us today. You can find Leanna's links in the show notes. Be sure to connect with her and let us know what parts impacted you today. Until next time, keep striving, keep thriving, and remember, you are more than good enough. I'm your host, Angela Mishuli, and I cannot wait to talk to you next time.